Julius Caesar. Let us take you to Rome, the mighty heart of an empire. Julius Caesar, conqueror, ruler, hero, returns triumphant. But as his star rises, so too does the envy of those who once called him friend. Thus, our tale begins of fate, of friendship, of betrayal.
The night there has been restless, Campania waves trembling, and now comes Caesar.
Nor heaven nor earth have been at peace tonight. Thrice has Campania inwardly cried out, "Help ho, the murdered Caesar!" Who's within?
My lord,
Go bid the priests to present a sacrifice and bring me their opinions of success.
I will, my lord.
What mean you, Caesar? Think you to work for it? You shall not stir out of the house today.
Caesar shall forth. The things that threaten me never look but on my back. When they shall see the face of Caesar, they are vanished.
Caesar, I never stood on ceremonies. Yet now they fright me. There is one within, besides the things that we have heard and seen, recounts the most horrid sight seen by the watch. A lioness hath wept in the streets. The graves have yawned and eaten up their dead. Fierce and fiery warriors have fought upon the clouds, in ranks, squadrons, in the right form of wars. That drizzled blood all upon the Capitol. Noises of battles heard in the air. Horses did neigh and dying men did groan. Ghosts did shriek and squeal about the streets. Oh Caesar, all these things are beyond all use, and I do fear them.
What can be avoided, whose end is purposed by the mighty gods? Yet Caesar shall go forth, for these predictions are to the world in general as to Caesar.
When beggars die, there are no comets seen. The heavens themselves blaze forth the death of the princes.
Cowards die many times before their deaths. The valiant taste of death but once. Of all the wonders that I yet have seen, it seems to be most strange that men should fear, seeing that death, a necessary end, will come when it will come. What say the authors?
They would not have to stay fort today. Plucking the end shell of an offering fort, they could not find a heart within the beast.
The gods do this in shame of cowardice. Caesar should be a beast without a heart. If he should stay at home today for fear, no, Caesar shall not. Danger knows full well that Caesar is more dangerous than he. We are two lions bred in one day, and I the elder, more terrible, and Caesar shall go forth.
Alas, my lord, your wisdom is consumed in confidence. Do not go forth today. Call it my fear that keeps you in the house, and not your own. We shall send Mark Antony to the Senate house, and he shall say that you are not well today. I, on my knees, prevail in this.
Mark Antony shall say, I am not well, and for thy humor I will stay at home. Haste, Decius Brutus.
Caesar, all hail. Moreover, Caesar, I come to fetch you to the Senate house.
You have come in very happy time, Decius, to bear my greetings to the senators and tell them that Caesar will not come today.
Most mighty Caesar.
Just say his say.
Shall Caesar send a lie? Have I in conquest stretched mine arm so far to be afraid to tell those greybeards the truth? Decius, go, tell them Caesar will not come.
Most mighty Caesar, let me know some cause, lest I be laughed at when I tell us.
Here's Calpurnia, my wife. She stays me at home. She dreamt tonight. She saw my statue, in which, like a fountain with 100 spouts, written pure blood, and many lusty Romans came and did bathe their hands in it. And these does she apply for warnings and fortunes.
This dream is all of misinterpreted. It was a vision, fair and fortunate. Your statue spotting blood in many bites, in which so many swelling Romans bathe, signifies that from you, great Rome shall suck, reviving blood, and then great men shall dress for teachers, stains, relics, and cognizance. This by Calpurnia's dream is signified.
And this way I will well signified.
I have many have heard what I can say, and know it now. The Senate have concluded to give this day a crown to mighty Caesar. And if we shall send them word, it will not come. Their minds will change.
How foolish your fear seems me now, Calpurnia, and I am ashamed I did yield to them. Give me my robe, for I will go.
The Senate house is set, and all the conspirators are here.
The temporal life is not the same. Caesar. The heart of Brutus yearns to think about.
Good friends, go in and taste some wine with me, and be like friends, straightway go together.
Senate House. The Senate House is set and all the conspirators are here.
What is now amiss that Caesar and his Senate must address?
Most high, most mighty, and most puissant Caesar,
I must prevent thee, Simba. These couchings and lowly courtesies might fire the blood of ordinary men and turn preordinance and first decree into the law of children. Thy brother by decree is banished. If those pray and fall for him, I must spur him like a cut out of my way. No, Caesar doth not wrong, nor without a cause will he be satisfied.
is there no voice more worthy than my own to sound more sweetly in great Caesar's ear for the repaying of my banished brother?
I kiss thy hand, but not in flattery, Caesar. Resign thee, that published in the man has great freedom.
What? This? Pardon, Caesar. Caesar, pardon. As low as thy foot doth cast his fall to beg enfranchisement for Publius Simba.
I could be easily movable if I were like you. If I could pray to move, prayers would have moved me. But I am constant, constant as a northern star, and constant orders to banish Simba, and constant must do to remain him so.
Speak hands for me.
Hey, you Brute? And like you, then fall Caesar.
Liberty, freedom, tyranny is end. Run hence, proclaim, cry it about to the streets.
Yes. Rome, stand still. The mighty Julius Caesar, once the heart of the republic, once the pride of the people, lies lifeless on the Senate floor, and now comes Mark Antony, Caesar's loyal friend.